You as parents can stop your kids from buying toys. You can even close their eyes while passing a toy shop just so that they don't tantrum to buy another game. But who will stop you? The ones who are above 20s from buying the clothes despite you having a cupboard full of cupboards. Now, who will close your eyes while passing a gadget or a clothing shop? No one, right? Then to help you avoid the impulsive purchases, today on the show, we will be speaking to Atul Shingal, founder and CEO of Scriptbox. He is here to share tips and tricks to curb your urge to buy and spend your hard-earned money mindlessly. Atul, good evening and welcome to the show. So, just to begin the conversation, I want to understand what exactly is impulsive buying or impulsive shopping.
Good afternoon to you, and thank you for having me on the Money Show. Would be things which you see. So if you differentiate between needs and wants, it's sort of pandering to your wants, and that too impulsively. It's important to remember that the whole world, in a sense, is conspiring against you. All the marketing folks, with due respect, are trying their best to make you do an impulse purchase. So if you're walking out of an aisle, like you were saying, passing a toy shop or a gadget shop, but even in a supermarket, as you go towards the checkout, you'll get all these chocolates and you'll get all of that. That's essentially designed around impulse purchases. Similarly, when you're doing online shopping, whenever you're looking to buy something on Amazon, you'll buy something and then they'll say, oh boy, I bought, people like you also bought this as a package. So they'll add two more things to get together, or there'll be sort of cashbacks, or there'll be discounts. So anything which makes you buy something in the impulse, which you really don't need, I would say is impulse buying. That's the simplest definition for that, Kavita.
What's the ratio among shoppers if we talk about normal planned shoppers and impulsive shoppers? Do you have any data or any kind of analysis or research on your end which you can share that people in India are more often impulsive shopper, impulsive buyer, or a planned shopper?
I don't have the data factually, so Kavita, I'd be lying. But my sense is that Indians by nature are prudent. Indians by nature are conservative. We've got a high household savings rate. As wealth managers at Scriptbox, just to explain this, how we think about money. And this is, since you asked about talking to youngsters and talking to the millennials, think about money, that the money available to you to spend is only available after you've saved. So if you think about paying rentals of anything which is compulsory, similarly, savings and investing with a purpose, that saving is as important as anything else you do. So it's only money which is available to you after you've saved for your future, after you've invested very well. That should be available for planned expenditure. In that planned expenditure, I wouldn't have a number, but I would say that Indians by nature don't do too much impulse. They do their fair share. And it's about controlling that, which is what we want to talk about.
The planned expenditure talking about and planned buying that we are talking about, do you think after the rise of digital medium and, online being available for so many things, even after that, you think people are not impulsive when it comes to their purchases, small size maybe?
Yeah, I'm not saying they're not. They are. That's why you have all these, the whole concept behind buy now, pay later, right?
Exactly, yeah.
The whole BNPL, the split your EMIs into 3 and don't need to pay. All of these are actually indulgences, which encourage you to impulse buy and buy things you can't afford. So as wealth managers, beyond the impulse purchases, I also want to talk about affordability, right? It's, somebody who's a millionaire can possibly afford to do some impulse purchases. But the common man who's earning a hard-earned salary, them being and going and buying things which they can't afford, which will impact their future savings or even their current financials, is what is wrong. And that's what's got to be controlled and curtailed.
Before I take tips on that from you, help us to understand how all these things are related to your credit rating, your credit score.
So what happens is, a credit rating is a complex thing. So I wouldn't, I'm probably not the only expert on this. But the more number of times you do a credit inquiry, that does not reflect very well on you. Because if you do, as I was explaining, if you do unplanned purchases and go out of pocket, right, and you start missing a payment, it impacts your credit score for the future. If you have too much credit beyond your income and your affordability, that impacts your credit score. So it's an amalgamation of many things. which will impact your credit score, both now and into the future, which you should avoid completely. So the important thing, the important lesson for everybody, and the takeaway is that you should only buy what you need. Once you hit a certain income profile and you're worth beyond what you would call your financial freedom, then yes, indulgences are fine. But till then, have a to-do list. When you walk into a shop, have a purchase list. Even when you're shopping online, be very, very planned about your what you want to purchase. Remember, everybody who's forcing you or trying to hook you into a purchase by either discounting too much or defraying your payments or giving you cash back, they actually want you to buy in the moment. And you need to just slow down and be thoughtful. Like you stop your children, like you said, you close their eyes. Similarly, close your own eyes when you see these too good to be true offers.
All right, now let's come down to the checklist or the tip list that you have to give us to avoid being an impulsive shopper.
I think the biggest thing I can tell you is that think about your future. Everything, whether it's a need or a want, have a process around it. First, fulfill all your needs, your children's education, your retirement, your home. Have you put enough money aside to meet those needs? Have you put enough money aside for an emergency? As COVID taught us, you could lose your job, you could have a health scare. Do you have at least 6 to 8 months of your salary or your expenses stacked away in a liquid fund or whatever to look after your? Once you've got that, yes, you should also have planned indulgences. I'm not saying you shouldn't have planned indulgences. You do want to take a holiday. You do want to buy a better laptop. You do want to buy a better mobile, but everything with a plan. So as I say always, a plan for everything and a place for everything and everything in its place. So have a to-do list. Make sure you're doing it in a systematic manner. And that will avoid you getting into a debt trap. That will avoid you having things you don't need, even if you can afford them at times. But very often you can't afford them.
But then all these millennials and Gen Z that we are talking about, or we talk about usually when it comes to impulsive shopping or purchases, they all want to live for the now. What about living your life now? And then definitely you need to plan for your future as well. But then in planning in this entire process, how could you leave that now and the moment?
Yeah, so I think everything in moderation, including moderation. Okay. So what I mean by that is that, yeah, you want to indulge now, but be moderate about it. Think about the future. India doesn't have a formal 401k plan like the US or other countries. We don't have, so for anybody who's in the private sector, especially, who's not guaranteed a pension, if you're not thinking about your retirement, remember, you're 32 years old, what you will require at 60, and given today's healthcare, you're probably going to live till 100. So unless you're planning that retirement and you've not spoken to a financial advisor, it's likely that you will overindulge. I have kids of my own, and the only advice I give them is plan far ahead. Inflation is a reality. The only advice or suggestion or all I can say is please believe in the power of compounding. As our parents used to say, a rupee saved is a rupee earned.
Right, and also maybe shop smart, Atul, because what is happening is we have a festive season around, right? And then all of these brands, online, offline, would bombard you with all the offers and discounts and sales going on. How can one shop smartly? Because often, a lot of time what happens is during this specific season, you land up becoming an impulsive shopper or just go beyond your list, even if you have one. So how can one really compare prices and figure out the best deal? Because I think that is going to be a great lesson looking at the festive season around the corner.
Oh, absolutely right. So you need to. It is festival season. You need to celebrate. You need to. But again, have a purchase list of what you really want. Look at the comparative sites to figure out what is right for you, and what fits your requirements. Right. It's the classic example. Say in medicine, sometimes a generic medicine is as good as the most branded one. You really don't need to buy the most expensive brand for things which you need. So yes, you rightly said it, Kavita. Do comparative shopping. Make sure you kept money aside for this, and you've been planning these expenses. You have the money in your bank, or you have the credit limit available, and you know you can afford it. So keeping those important is really important. Is the way I would think about even festive shopping. That we tell our customers who are saving their wealth through us that have a budget for everything. So have a budget, work with a to-do list or a list of purchases, look for the best price available, look for good deals. Sometimes you get, recently I needed earphones. I was able to get them at I think a 45-50% discount. So the Indians are very good at negotiating. We haggle well, we negotiate well. And I mean it in a very positive manner, not in a derogatory manner at all. So use that skill to find the best deal for you and make it happen.
It's time that you remove the tag of being an impulsive shopper and then add on to becoming a smart shopper. That's the takeaway with this conversation with Atul. Thank you so much, Atul Shingle, for removing time and talking to us.
Thank
we
you,
will
Kavita.
move on, and the government of Karnataka has recently launched Venturize Global Startup Challenge to recognize, reward, and support growth stage startups in manufacturing and sustainability related sectors. Global Challenge will provide an opportunity to building companies across the globe to showcase their solutions to entrepreneurs and the world, and build a strong network to support their enterprises. A cash prize of $100,000 has been earmarked for the winners. The winners also get access to interacting with top industrialists, get a chance to exclusively pitch their solutions at Global Investors Meet, and receive curated mentoring sessions from experienced mentors. The last day for application submission is 25th September, and the details are given on your screen. To apply now.